Mazda MX-5 has one big problem. You tell any girl that you just bought a Mazda Miata, she'll say, "Oh my God, how cute! What's your boyfriend's name?" Doesn't matter that it's the most raced car in the history of the world. Doesn't matter that it's one of the best sports cars in the world. Now there's a solution. You can drive a Miata without anyone knowing you're driving a Miata. Tell the ladies, "Hey, I just bought a Fiat 124 Spider." And they'll be all, "Oh my God, he has an Italian sports car, marry me!" This adorable red thing has a badge on it that says MX-5, but no one calls it that. We all call it the Miata. That has a badge on it that says 124 Spider, but we're all gonna call it the Fiata. Why? Because it's a Fiat Miata. It is built on the same production line by Mazda in Hiroshima, Japan. These are the only two true roadsters left on the market. Sub 2,500 pounds, manual transmission, rear drive, drop tops. But even though that is the new one, to put it in perspective, the first thing I need to do is get back into this for a minute. Bam, limiter. Okay, let's recap. This is the 4th generation Mazda Miata that debuted last year and damn near won both Best Driver's Car and Car of the Year. And if you're looking for some inside baseball, I fought really hard for it to win both. The reason? A, it's a great car, and B, it is the car that proved the entire industry wrong. The industry has convinced itself you can't make a car like this that's lighter and smaller than its predecessor and didn't resort to the use of exotic, expensive materials to do it. It's also way more efficient, up to 30% more fuel efficient than the car that it replaces without using stupid dual clutch automatics or turbochargers. Is it perfect? No. First of all, the steering is completely dead now that it's electrically assisted and only ever tells you something when you're sideways. Which brings us to the next problem. You are always sideways in this car. It's got so much body roll, and body roll is good until you're in the bump stops. You turn the car, the back heaves over, and it's in the bump stops. From that point on, you don't have any suspension travel, so any bumps upset the back of the car. So basically, you turn in, the back heaves over, and from that point on, you're constantly managing what's going on at the back. It's fun, but it takes a long time before you really learn to trust this car on a back road with stability control off. When the Fiat Group originally made plans to make their version of the Miata, it was supposed to be an Alfa Romeo. And without ever seeing it, it was never even designed, we knew it was going to be beautiful. But then through a series of events like Alfa Romeo dealers complaining that $25,000 wasn't going to be enough for a premium product and Alfa should have its own sports car, it became a Fiat. So the beautiful Alfa Romeo became hideous. Well, okay, hideous is maybe a strong word. Horrible, ugly, whatever. The original 124 wasn't a beauty either, so I guess that's appropriate. And what I do like is that they took some of the 124 styling cues, like the double bubble hood. Unfortunately, the original 124 had a double bubble hood to reference the fact that it had a twin cam engine, and 50 years later, this thing has a single cam 4-cylinder. It also has a center vent in the dashboard that's exactly the same shape as the taillights on, well, the Miata, which is a little bit strange, but hey, that's what happens when you badge engineer. More importantly, what Fiat did really well is make this car look nothing like the Miata, and it's the same car. They did this by stretching it 5.5 inches, and all of that length is in the overhangs. They raised the front up, and there's a lot more visual mass to this car, so it looks a full size bigger, even though it's not. You decide on your own whether you like the way it looks, but what you can't decide from your side of the screen is how it drives, so I'm going to get in and tell you. Other than the body, the other big difference is the powertrain. This does not have a Mazda engine. It has a Mazda transmission from the last Miata, but this is a Fiat engine. It's a 1.4 liter turbo that we know and love from the Fiat 500 Abarth. Right away, there's one problem. The Abarth showed us that that little engine, if you uncork the exhaust, sounds like the Tasmanian devil with indigestion. It's like, wah, it makes all these Ferrari sounds. This thing sounds like nothing. 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 Like, what is Fiat doing? The whole point of this engine was noise. Anyway, as far as tech though, this is the opposite of the Mazda engine. This is old school stuff, and it's everything that a car company can do to cheat on fuel economy tests. It's port injection and a turbocharger. And it makes 5 more horsepower than the Miata, and it gets the same exact EPA ratings. But they have to shove 22 PSI of turbo boost into this thing to make 160 horsepower. And that means big ol' lag and big ol' fuel consumption when you're getting on it. And of course, you're gonna be on it. And on it, and on it, and on it. But as we're driving these cars on the back roads, this is getting 10 miles per gallon less than the Miata. So I gotta ask, why would Fiat ever put this 1.4 liter in instead of the Mazda's 2 liter? Well, they do it probably for European registration. When you register your car in Europe, you pay based on the size of the engine. And this is a 1.4, it's a tiny little engine. You know, if there is a beauty to this engine, it's that it's got all this mid-range torque from 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. It just kind of glides in silence. It's not really what you want from a sports car though. I mean, nobody's home over 5,500 RPM. And then in normal driving, when you're below 3 grand, it's just lag, 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 and then it goes. Just, there is no joy in this world as great as hustling a car at full throttle for half an hour straight. Just full throttle, red line, shift, full throttle, brakes, turn, downshift, full throttle. I mean, there's like this gas pedal is an on-off switch. Oh. Look, anyone who accuses this of being like a girl car needs to get in a Miata or a Fiata on the back road. I'm sick of saying it. This is the most fun you can have in a car without a girl in it. The other big difference is in suspension tuning. This is a lot softer. You feel a lot more vertical motion, but, and here's the key point, the roll is so well controlled in this car. Turn it into a corner and the whole car turns in as one. You don't have that boom over to the side that you get in the Miata. And as a result, this thing is really easy to trust. Right away, just slide around corners, no problem. You can flick it in. You never have to manage what's going on in the rear end the way you do on a Miata. It just turns in as a whole. Then you get terminal understeer. And you can fix that with, you know, mid-corner brake applications and a lot of power and other stuff. But overall, this thing on a back road is fast because you can trust it.
Faster than the Miata? Well, to find out, I set up a technical handling course. Our MX-5 wore optional performance tires, the Fiat didn't. So we used the 124's wheels and tires on both cars to even the playing field. First up, the Fiata.
So controllable, so sidewaysable. So, what was the time?
45.89.
45.89 seconds, time to beat in the Miata. Thank you.
Next up, the Miata wearing the Fiata's shoes.
Whoa! So much more work. So much more work, Jesus. Definitely faster than the Fiat in a straight line, and I don't think it brakes as well. Just loves to be sideways. One wheel peel and needs a limited slip. That was so much faster. So much faster. What's the time?
45.90.
45.90?
Yep.
100th slower? No.
That's what it says.
But it felt so much faster.
Proof's in the Fiata.
So each car's fastest lap was, quite amazingly, basically identical to the others. This even though the Miata was noticeably faster in a straight line. Why? Well, I spent more time sideways in the Mazda trying to rein in the back end. The Fiat's extra composure more than made up for the speed difference in the straights. Same basic car, two completely different laps.
There winds up being a huge personality difference between the Miata and the Fiata. And it's not just because of one thing like the engine or the sound deadening. It's because of the whole gestalt, right? The Miata, driving every day is way more fun. The turn in and the back end's like, I want to go over here, I want to go, the car's all over the place. The engine makes all this screaming noises. It's just sharp-edged and fun when you're driving normally. But you go on a back road and the thing turns into a little bit of a skittish mess. Fiat, on the other hand, on a back road at the limit is unbelievable. It's benign, it's trustworthy, it's fast, it's good, and the engine's actually okay. Around town though, laggy, boring, and it loses all that energy that the Miata has. So I can't possibly decide which one of these two cars I'd rather have. I think we're gonna have to do a head-to-head for that. But this whole thing brings up one other problem.
I've had this nagging thought that maybe the ND Miata isn't that much better than its NC2 predecessor, so we brought one along, and as I feared, the difference is pretty small. I don't know which of these three roadsters is actually the best, because all I kept thinking was that I want the ND's tight little body and transmission, the NC2's hydraulic steering and 7,700 RPM screaming engine, and the Fiat's suspension tuning. But if you can't pick and choose the parts, each of these cars is still brilliant on its own. And more importantly, if you absolutely, positively cannot be seen driving a Miata, there's a brand new Italian-ish roadster called the Fiat 124 Spider that's slightly different, but every bit as great.